So seeing this in an official release actually cracked me up. Not the fact that Caitlyn Clark is getting live coverage of her golf outing. That's a duh. We'll get to that in a second. Live coverage, the Annika tomorrow, 10 a.m. on Golf Channel. But the listings here, one, Sophie Cunningham, Clark's Pro-Am caddy. And when you get to the actual live interviews that they expect to show, Lexi Hull's listed there, Indiana Fever guard, but not as a caddy. Sophie Cunningham, Indiana Fever guard, and Caitlyn Clark's caddy at the Annika. So Sophie Cunningham's caddy status has upped the ante for the entertainment value for this fairway foray when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. Obviously, she did it last year, got a lot of attention, a lot of people out there on the green to get a glimpse of Clark. But Cunningham there shows you just what her attachment to Clark has done for her career and her profile, and also what people see in her as a firecracker and a brand representative and all those things. She's become a superstar in her own right. But it's always so interesting to see how much of a superstar Caitlyn Clark is treated as when she's in these non-WNBA settings. And the LPGA always going over the top every time she's involved because they know she's going to bring in new eyes. It's the same philosophy that extended to women's basketball in the WNBA. It's just they seem to run a full blitz to capitalize. And you could see that in the interview that Annika Sorenstam did leading into the coverage. And this is not some scrub, right? Like, this is a great golfer, not, some rando who gets a chance to golf with Caitlyn Clark. This is a golf legend. If anything, Caitlyn Clark should be the one to be happy to be in her presence relative to the event that's taking place and what they're doing. But the first question she's asked is about Clark.
The host, Annika, joins us now. So great spending some time with you. So you've got Caitlyn Clark playing in your Pro-Am for the second year in a row. What is the value of her presence in your tournament?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. Yes, Damon, you're right. I mean, she had so much to the tournament. I really didn't know what to expect last year. I mean, obviously, she's talk of the town and such a superstar in a lot of ways. And, she added just, so much, excitement to the tournament. We had a lot of people come out. They were standing on the first tee at 7 a.m. waiting for her to see that, the first shot. But just her engagement with the fan and just, being so relatable. And I don't know, she loves the game of golf, and so glad that she wanted to come back because, it brings more people to the game, brings more people to the tournament. And that's really what we're looking for.
Did you have to make different preparations than you had in years past to accommodate Caitlyn Clark for this year, Annika, based on the kind of reception that you saw her get last year?
Yeah, no, I think we are, we're opening it up a little bit more, making sure people can see it more and just making sure everybody can enjoy, her presence and being part of the tournament. So yeah, we just didn't really know what to expect last year. And I think the response was very positive. So now we're trying to make sure that everybody gets a piece of it but also that she can enjoy it and feel like she's having a good time. But it's just opening up to more people to see her and get a chance to get her autographs. We have so many young girls out there on that Wednesday just wanting to sign, an autograph, whether they brought a, basketball or a hat or something. It was just nice to see a new demographic enter the golf course.
20 years ago, I wrote a piece on you and Tiger practicing your short games together. Now you're hanging out with the likes of Caitlyn Clark. You were the best at what you did. Caitlyn the best at what she does, Tiger the best at what he did. When you guys get together, the best of the best, what do you talk about?
There's a lot to talk about. I mean, first of all, I just love talking about what she does. I like to hear things, her practice routine and how she practices, how much time you spend in the gym. And just like any fan is, like, I like to learn. I like to know what she does and how she prepares. And then your mind starts thinking about what do I do and what did I do? And, just learning from each other. But it's, and then also it's like, hey, what are your interests? What do you like doing? And then she would ask me about her, golf game. And, she's asking for some pointers or just to handle certain things. And it's, it just like, it's nice to get to know each other on the golf course in different ways.
So two things. One is sort of that fawning nature, right? Like, you get to be there with Caitlyn Clark. Oh my God. Which it's not a new thing to point out how, like, ironic it seems sometimes in contrast to the resistance or resentment or whatever narratives or truths at times that we've seen in Clark's primary league. But I do find that amusing, not to mention the fact that they're really gung ho about saying, yeah, we're going to get more people to watch. Like, why wouldn't we take that opportunity? And then the other aspect of it is the caddy part, which Lexi Hull being there, her and Caitlyn Clark have been teammates a couple years now. Lexi has credited Caitlyn Clark for, giving her a little bit of renewed confidence, knowing that she had a specific role and, she was going to get the shots and it was just a matter of taking them confidently, that sort of thing. And obviously she's carved out a role as a hell of a hustle player and glue player for the Fever. Then there's the Sophie Cunningham thing, and we've gone over the enforcer aspect and the fact that she stood up for Clark in that Sun game with JC Sheldon. That's when everything sort of went to another level for Sophie. And now you see her advertising all sorts of things, RBs and being on Good Morning America. And, she's all over the place, her own podcast and everything. But specifically being Clark's caddy, there's a little bit of an attachment there. And with Sophie being a free agent, it's one of those things, as the front office, I don't know how much you want to break that up, considering it's just another element of notoriety and star power, assuming Sophie is healthy and can provide what she does on the floor, which is a valuable high-end role player there too. Like, a first off the bench, plug-in starter, that kind of player who can shoot the ball, can do a variety of things, can handle the ball. So Sophie Cunningham provides a lot of value in that way, but she's seen so much value in being associated with Caitlyn Clark. And then you see it come all the way to the golf course there. And Sophie's been busy. She's been all over the place, but making time for this. And I just, that title just got me. It tickled me a little bit. Indiana Fever guard and Caitlyn Clark's caddy. But we'll see how the entire event goes. Hopefully Clark doesn't shank a ball this year and hit any bystanders. But regardless, once again, she's being met with that red carpet. Hopefully, it's a good sign she's healthy too. I mean, not golf isn't the most arduous thing. It's when you play. It's what you play when you're retired or on vacation or you get a little older and everything. But it still does take some torque and all that. So hopefully, it's also a good sign that Caitlyn Clark is healthy and ready to go. And she had targeted the end of October for her return to 5-on-5 action, I believe. So assuming that already happened behind closed doors, it will be our first chance to see some of the Fever girls together in a little while, because the Trace Leches, the caddies Leches, that'll be there. And the Fever put out a post yesterday saying something about how you miss Fever basketball, and it's going to be a long wait for that. Hopefully they get a CBA done so the wait isn't even longer than normal, but at least we'll get to see a few of them together, and they're getting a superstar welcoming on the golf course, that's for sure.